From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Robin Chan with today's Voice Briefing. It's Thursday, February 26, 2026.
I'm Frank Witzel with the Detroit Free Press. President Donald Trump, during his long State of the Union address, spent about a minute talking about gasoline prices, as some suspected he would. Trump railed against former President Joe Biden, blaming him for high prices, and seemed to claim credit for bringing them down, selectively citing numbers that could give you the impression prices are near or below $2 a gallon. To clarify, one petroleum analyst, Patrick DeHaan, released a statement titled The Real State of Fuel Prices before and after Trump's address, which pointed out that the average price nationally for gas is closer to $3 a gallon. The national average, DeHaan said, is $2.95 a gallon, down about 16 cents from a year ago. In Michigan, the statewide average is higher, $2.98 a gallon. An average means some stations are selling gas at a lower price and some higher. Skepticism about Trump's claims also seemed to be on the rise as his approval rating falls. Earlier this month, a Free Press reader emailed asking if the president's below $2 a gallon claims were true, adding, "I don't believe him." In his Tuesday address, Trump said gas reached a peak of $6 a gallon in some states under my predecessor, calling it a disaster, and added it is now below $2.30 a gallon in most states, and in some places, $1.99 a gallon. A few weeks ago in Iowa, he claimed he even saw $1.85 a gallon for gasoline. Gas prices, DeHaan said, are lower on average than they were a year ago, but sub-$2 gas is extremely rare. Moreover, he pointed out that a president, whether to blame or credit, has limited control over the price of gasoline. Gas did, DeHaan say, reach $1.85 a gallon in early January in Iowa, but prices have since risen, and at the moment, only 8 out of roughly 150,000 gas stations nationwide are selling gasoline below $2 a gallon. Of those, 4 stations are in Texas, 1 is in Oklahoma, and 3 are in Kansas.
I'm Dante Bedingfield for the Detroit Free Press. If the Detroit Institute of Art's ever worried about someone shaking dust from Diego Rivera's murals, they might want to keep an eye on ELU this Friday, February 27th. The explosive jazz rock pianist, known for redefining piano performance with the physicality of a prizefighter and the swagger of a rock guitarist, is set to turn the DIA's auditorium into something closer to a sonic combustion chamber. ELU, born Eric Lewis, isn't your average conservatory-trained virtuoso, though he is one of those too. He pounds, plucks, slaps, and practically wrestles the piano into submission, pushing the instrument past traditional jazz boundaries. He calls his style rock jazz, a muscular hybrid that reinvents tunes by artists like Nirvana, Coldplay, and The Killers with thunderous chords and dizzying technique. Think classical chops meets mosh pit energy.
Hey there, everybody. This is Omari Sacco for the Second, Pistons beat writer for the Detroit Free Press. On this week's episode of our podcast, The Pistons Post, Bryce Simon and I were joined by our friend Laz Jackson to break down the Pistons' loss to the Spurs, their upcoming gauntlet, and playoff matchups. Here's a quick snippet of our conversation. So it sounds like Cleveland is the East team that scares you the most, like over New York and then over Boston as well.
Yeah, definitely. Just because we've seen how the New York matchup has gone over the course of the last 3 games. I think everybody in Detroit feels pretty confident about how that matchup would go in the playoff setting. Boston, we got into this a little bit earlier, but with Tatum coming back, I'm not totally sure how that impacts them. I still feel good about that matchup, especially in a world where they got Vooch at the deadline to play him. It's if you are playing Nikola Vucevic 25 minutes a game in the playoffs, I feel good about each and every one of those minutes if I'm the Detroit Pistons.
You can hear that full conversation in this week's episode of The Pistons Post, which is available wherever you listen to podcasts. And as always, you can find our latest coverage on freep.com/sports.
Find more from the Detroit Free Press on freep.com. That's FREEP.com. Thank you for listening, and you'll hear more from us tomorrow.